we'll do the LabVIEW programming part. Okay, so first of all, I'll show you the image. Okay, so this is a standard image, a cameraman image that is there by default in the MATLAB library folder. Okay, you can download it as well. I have taken this image because this is a 8-bit grayscale image. Okay, there is one more image available as well. At the bottom you can see its file format is JPEG, and this image, that is the test image I have taken, its file format is PNG. Other thing you can get over here is its dimension is 256 by 256. Here the dimension of this image is 225 by 225. Size is also written. Okay, and it is a JPEG format. So first of all, this image, test image, I'll show you this image. This is a PNG type image. A cameraman image, it is known as a standard, very standard image used in MATLAB for you can say doing the beginner programming in image processing. That's why we take this standard image. Okay, so this is a PNG image, 256 by 256. It is a grayscale image. So all these things, this image I am going to read it in MATLAB, in LabVIEW. Then I am going to display it. Then I am going to perform certain operations over it as well. Okay, so I'll open up the LabVIEW thing now. Okay, now everyone is able to see this LabVIEW screen. Okay, good. Now see over here. So first part is now that image is there on the desktop. I have made a folder. Okay, stdlab folder. That image is there. So first thing requirement in this project is to be able to read the image. So I need to browse the image. So I need to give path to my file, path to my image. So first requirement is that. So but before doing that, I'll write down the aim over here. The aim of today's experiment. So I'm writing in short, it is basic image handling techniques using LabVIEW, and we are going to deal with grayscale image. Okay, now its font done. Now first thing, as I've told you, I need to give paths to my file where my image is there. So I right click on the front panel. You see there is option string and path. Okay, here there is a file path control, file path indicator. So I'm going to select file path control and I'm going to place it over here. Okay, and I'm going to enhance it, increase its this. Okay, now there is an option to browse. So I click this. So here by clicking this, a window will open up where I can browse the file. So I'll tell you, on the desktop there is a folder I have made, experiment 10 stdlab. I click on this, I see this test image. So name is taken over here, test image. I press OK. So here you see it is C users desktop in the folder test image.png. So this file I have read. Now coming to the block diagram part, I move to, now there is a particular toolbox available for this. See over here. So I'll give the name, this is my input image path. Okay, and then I right click, I go to this graphics and sound. So graphics means image, sound means sound processing. So in graphics, here there are picture functions and graphic formats. Okay, first I'm going to use graphic formats. So you know that I should be able to read the image, because here only I have given the path, but there should be a block where I can read the image. So you can read a JPEG image, read a PNG image, read a BMP image. So 3 types of file formats are supported by this thing. This is a 2013 version. Maybe in your version you may see other file formats as well. But here three file formats are there: JPEG, PNG, and BMP. Our image, as we know that it is a PNG, so I'll click on this read PNG and I'll place it over here. Okay. As soon as I place it, now I'm going to connect this to my path. So this is the path to the PNG file. I have connected the path. Now on the output I see image data. Now what information basically is being extracted from my image using this read PNG block that I want to see. Okay, so for that what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this image data and I'm going to create an indicator. Okay, so this is the image data for me. Now you see over here I move back, I get this as the image data. I'm going to move this down. So this is the image data that I'm getting. When I'll run this program, okay, I'll run this. As soon as I run the program, you will see certain details over here in this. Okay, first thing, image type, it is preserved only for, it is only a number. 0 means we are referring to our grayscale or binary images, and 1 means we are referring to the color images. This is not of much significance. Major significance parameter are image depth, image, and these left, top, right, and bottom. Okay, what are these things? Image depth. Image depth is the pixel depth. What is the size of pixel in terms of bits? So that I've already told you, it is a 8-bit image. So that's why it is written over here 8. If I read any other image, if it is having other than 8 bits, it will read here 16-bit, 24-bit, whatever. Okay. Typically grayscale images have got 8 bits. They may also have 16 bits as well. Okay, 24 bits as well. But they will not contain the color information. Remember this. Only their range will be higher. Now, first thing is this pixel depth or image depth. Next thing is this image. So basically, this PNG, if you try to see over this block carefully, on the left hand side, the image that is drawn over this block is, you have a file type option on the left, arrow, and you have got a one-dimensional array type output on the right hand side. So what you are getting over here is your image, you know, it is a two-dimensional matrix, but this read PNG, the block, it is basically converted, it has converted my 2D array into a one-dimensional array of pixel values. Like suppose you have a 3x3 image, so it will be a 3x3 matrix. But if you try to read on these values, and you convert them into one-dimensional array, you will get first element, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth. So you will get a one-dimensional array having size equal to 9, that is 9 elements will be there. So that is the function performed by this. So 0, it is indicating 156. As I've already told you, the range of a grayscale image, it is between 0 to 255. So this 156 here, it is referring to the pixel value, and the 0 is the location in the array. Array index, it always starts from 0. So at index 0, you have got one image whose value is 156. Then I can increase this. At 1, you have 159, 2, 158. So you can keep on varying this. Okay, and you can keep on checking the values, whatever values are there at each and every index position of my array. Okay, this left, top, right, and bottom. Okay, I'll tell you about this when I'll display the image. That will become clear to you. See over here how to now display the image. First of all, I press Ctrl+H. I hover over this. This shows image data type. Now when I move over this, now see over here what is written, image data. Okay, image data, image type, image depth. So many elements are there. As you see in this, so many number of elements are there in this case. But I want only the image data to be plotted. So this image data that is there, I want to plot this. So what will be done in this case? I go again to graphics. I go to picture functions now. Picture functions are used to display the images. When I am using this simple read PNG and write PNG, there you need to use draw flattened pixmap because it is dealing with unsigned 8-bit data type. But when I will convert it into double type, I will perform some pixel manipulation. There I will use draw unflattened pixmap. So you see over here two things are there: draw unflattened pix map and draw flattened pix map. Okay, so I'm going to select draw flattened pix map. I select over here, I paste it over here. I'll take a connection, I'll connect to image data, and at the output end I am going to create a indicator. That indicator is going to be my image. I'm going to name the image as, this is my original image or input image. So this is how the reading process is carried out in LabVIEW. You give the file path name, you place a read PNG block. If it is a JPEG image, you read JPEG block. Image data, if you want to see, you can create an indicator. Then you pass it to a draw flattened pix map, and you see over here, you can get a new data indicator output, and you will get a original image as the output. Okay, so now I am going to run this program, but before that, okay, I'll run the program now. Just see over here, I run the program. So some image is there, but it is not visible because its dimensions are not proper. I'm going to increase this. So this is how my image is being read, which I've shown you from this file path that is there. But what are the dimensions of these images? When I have shown you the image in the folder, there it was written it was of the size 256 by 256. How can I get to know in LabVIEW? See over here, left coordinate, top coordinate. So whenever you talk about the images, this top left corner, its coordinates are written, and the bottom right corner, its coordinates are written. So 0, 0 is the left coordinate, and 256, 256. That is the number of rows and number of columns. So in order to fix this image, either you can select this and fix this accordingly. Okay, or what you can do is you select this, go to this option at the top. This is known as set width and height. I click on this. I can change the set width and height property of the image. I can apply width and height. Suppose I apply over here 256. I apply width, width is applied. I apply height, height is applied. So this is my original image that I get. Okay, so first part, that is reading of image, is done. Now I would like to perform certain operation on my image. What that operation will be, see over here. I would like to reverse my image. Okay, like this person is standing upright, I want this image to be rotated. Okay, I want this image to be inverted. So how that will be done? You know that in this case, when I have read a PNG file, it has converted into a one-dimensional array. Okay, it has converted into a one-dimensional array. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll click on this detailed help. Okay, see over here, it is written, it reads a PNG file, this block, read PNG1. It reads a PNG file and creates the data necessary to display the file in a picture control. Use the draw flattened pix map. It is written over here only. To display the bitmap you acquire with this PI, and you can use the unflattened pix map to work with the data as a two-dimensional array. So here you are talking about the one-dimensional array of data, and when you want to display it, you can use draw flattened pix map. I click over here. In draw flattened pix map, what is written? It draws 1-bit, 4-bit, or 8-bit, or 24-bit pix map into a picture. So here I am having a 8-bit. So it has taken a 1D array. Remember this. It takes a 1D array of my numbers as input, and we get the output as an image. Okay. So I close this first of all. Now, in order to perform operation on this to invert the image, I have got one-dimensional array of data. What I'll do is, in case of arrays also, I told you there is an operation known as reverse 1D array. So if I reverse the value, okay, my values are going to be reversed and image is going to be reversed as well. So how to do that operation? First of all, see over here. I take a block. If you remember the block known as this thing, bundle and unbundle. Okay, yes, this is unbundle by name and bundle by name. Okay, unbundle means to separate out, bundle means to combine. So I select over here unbundle by name. I place it over here. I take this connection and I feed it to input. Okay, now see over here, When I have plotted the image, you see various types of information is available. Image data under image data, image type, image depth, image left right coordinates. But what I want is this image, because I want to do the manipulation of the pixel value. That is, I just want to reverse the error. No manipulation is there. Manipulation means like you want to add something, subtract something, you want to do convolution. You will see these operations. Means certain operations, certain multiplication factor, certain factor is there which you want to multiply, add, subtract on the pixel value. Here I don't need to do that. Here one dimensional array is there, starting from 0 to suppose going up to 1000. I just want to reverse its values. So for reversing the values, as soon as I unbundle, now you select over here, I click over here, you see this image, image depth, image, mask, colors, rectangle, that is left, top, right, bottom. What I want is I want to do operation with the image. Image means the pixel values, the intensity values. I select image, then I go to array operation. Where is array? In array, there is an option known as reverse 1D array. I place this block reverse 1D array. I'll connect this. Now here I have unbundled the information because I wanted to do the operation only on the image, that is the gray level values. Now in order to display the image, I can't display the image only with this information. I want the entire information. So in order to get the entire information, I need to bundle it again. So in order to bundle it again, I go to this again cluster operation. I select this bundle by name. Okay. I select this, connect this. Okay, now what is done? One connection required is of this thing. I'll select this. Just wait. I'll take a wire and connect to this thing. I'll select this and select image. What operations I have done over here? See over here. This is my entire image data. It is a big cluster. Out of that, only I want to do operation, or means a simple reverse 1D operation on the image. So I selected image. Okay. Reverse 1D operation, it is done. Now I have got a new image with the reverse 1D operation. But in order to display my image to see the effect, whether it has actually reversed or not, I want to combine the information. So previous information it will take from my previous input. Only this image information is being reversed via this operation. So this is known as bundling it back. I bundle it back with my previous information that was there, plus this image type is only reversed. Then I can plot my this thing. So I can do is I can go to again graphics and sound. I go to this picture functions, draw flattened pix map. I'll take a wire and connect to image data, and I'm going to correct a indicator for me again. And I name it as reversed image. Okay, so now I will get an image known as reversed image. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you. So this I have got. I'll place it over here. I'll first of all select this, change its width and height. Width and height will remain same because the number of pixels are same. I apply it, so I will get a 256 by 256 image. Now I am going to run the program. So now this is my original image, this is my reversed image. How I have obtained this? I have only carried out a 1D reverse 1D array operation on my image part. First of all, I have unbundled it, then I have bundled it with my previous information so that I can display it. Okay, now one more thing over here, after that I will take your doubt, is that here I have read an image using PNG. Now if suppose I want to save this my new image, this reversed image I want to save with a certain name in my directory, in my folder, what I can do? Okay, so what I write is, instead of read PNG, I will use now write PNG, and I will use another file path. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, first of all I'm going to copy this thing, and I'm going to make another thing. I'll change its name. Name, if I want to give of the output image as, I want to give reversed underscore image dot png. Okay, same folder is there. I'll show you that folder once the program will run, how this image will be stored with the name reverse image dot png. But before that, I move over here. Now I do go to Instead of read PNG, I go to write PNG. I place the block over here. Okay. I'll take a wire. This was my image data. I'll go to this image data. Okay. And this path. This path I have kept over here. So I'll connect this. File path is where? Path to PNG file. Path to PNG file. This is how I have made the connection. Okay. I'll make the connection once again. Just wait. I'll take this wire. I am connecting it to this one. Okay, so this is connected to that. Now, when I'll run the program, this reversed image I've got, this will be saved in this particular folder, in this particular directory with the name reversed image. So I'm going to run the image. So image is run. Now I am going to move to the folder. You see over here, there is an image with the name reversed image saved. So you can read the image, you can write the image, you can perform reverse 1D array operation on it as well. Okay. Any doubt up till this point in the operation that I have shown? You can ask now, otherwise I can move further. Any doubt up till this point, anyone? How to read the image, how to write the image, how to do reverse 1D array operation. Done? Yeah, let me see your doubts. How we read the image original one image data and how we got input image block. In order to do that, what you need to do is go to this string and path in front panel, go to this file path control. Okay, you browse here the file, you click on this, you browse the file. I have browsed the file name. I'll show you how. I'll remove this. I'll browse the file. Here you can see this test image that is there, because now there are multiple images. I selected the test image. So test image.png is there. Okay. Once I have browsed the file, then I need to read the image. In order to read the image, I go to graphics and sound, graphic formats. I go to read PNG file. Read PNG, when I select, I get this block. I connect it to the file path to the PNG file. Okay. Then at this output end, that is image data, I have created a indicator. As soon as I create an indicator, I get this image data, and this is all about reading of the image and getting the information about the image. In order to display the image, I need a flattened pix map and create an indicator. How to take flattened pix map? You can search also. You can write draw flattened pix map, you will get that. Or you can go to graphics and sound, picture functions. You see over here draw flattened pix map. I have selected this. Then I right click, I create an indicator, and I get this as my original image. Okay. Is it clear? Any other doubt? Any other doubt, anyone? No? Okay. So I move ahead. So reading of image, writing of image, doing 1D operation is done. Now I will perform 2D array operation. 2D array operation, if I want to perform, I need to perform convolution operation. I will perform over here. I am going to perform convolution. What is convolution? You will get to know by this operation. Convolution for edge detection in my image. Because in my image, the edges will be highlighted, the boundaries will be highlighted. Like the person is wearing the coat, so boundaries will be highlighted, and so on. So these are some operations that we do in images. So one operation. So one operation is convolution that we are going to perform. How to do that operation? See over here. Now, because convolution involves, it is a, you can say, a very complex mathematical term. But what is done actually in this? Okay, you have a 3 cross 3 matrix. You have a 3 cross 3 matrix, which is known as a filter or a mask having certain coefficient values. You apply the convolution, you multiply it, you place it over my original image, and then perform the operation of convolution. I'll tell you how the convolution is done. Okay, in order to show you, I'll stop sharing this first of all. I'll move to whiteboard. Like suppose okay, so this over here is your image, which may be of size 256 cross 256. Okay, here is your filter or mask. Filter, mask, it is also known as kernel. Okay, various other names are there, of size 3 cross 3. Okay, it may have certain values, like the values I'm taking over here is suppose 4 4 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1, rest all zeros. Okay. So here a 3 cross 3 matrix I have taken. Now these 3 cross 3 matrices will vary depending upon whether you want to apply edge detection operation, whether you want to do low pass filtering, that is for smoothing of the image, whether you want to do median filtering, whether you want to do there is a various filters available, Gaussian filters, other filters available. So depending upon the different filters, you have different coefficients over here. Okay, like for edge detection, here I have taken -1 at horizontal and vertical neighbors, and the center part I have taken 4. Overall, if you see, the sum of all elements is coming out to be 0 in this case. Okay, so this is one example I have taken of one filter that can help me in carrying out a, you can say, this edge detection operation. Okay, then what is done in convolution is that you take this matrix, you apply it on the image. Okay, so you place the matrix over here, starting here from the left coordinate. Okay, you apply it over here. Suppose now my image has got the pixel values, like pixel value is over here 1 2 3 0 5 2 10 or you can say 20 or 3. Okay, so these are my original pixel values of my image in the 3 cross 3 neighborhood. So what is done, this filter is applied on this image, on this 3 cross 3 portion, and some convolution operation is applied over here. What is that convolution operation? This element is 0 over here, first element, and this element is 1 over here. You multiply the corresponding element, like this element will be multiplied by this element will be multiplied by 3, 0 will be multiplied by 10, -1 will be multiplied by 2, 4 will be multiplied by 5. So element by element multiplication you do, first thing. Then you add all the result. Element by element multiplication you do. Suppose you do the element by element multiplication and then you add the result, like 0 into 1 0 plus -1 into 3, that is -3, plus 0 into 10 0, -1 into 2 -2, 4 into 5 20. You add all this result. Okay, and the result that you get, you replace the center pixel, that is 5 over here. You replace the center pixel 5 over here with that resulting value. That is one kind of convolution operation used in low pass filtering that I am telling you. This is also used in your edge detection as well. But in order to make you understand, What convolution actually is, one simple operation, element by element multiplication, then you superimpose all the result. Whatever value that you get, you replace the center pixel of my original image with that particular value of the result that you get. Okay, here you have applied on 3x3 neighborhood. Then this process continues. You move this, shift this 3x3 matrix by 1 to the right. Then you move it by 1 to the right. Then you move it 1 to the right until the entire row is covered. Then you move down to the second row and this. So this operation will keep on continue on your entire image until your entire image is traversed. So this operation of convolution, that is multiplication, then addition and replacing the center value with the resultant value, will apply on each and every 3x3 neighborhood, shifting one by one to the right, then to the bottom till the entire image is traversed. So that is one convolution operation. So depending upon this filter coefficients value, you will get different kinds of result. Like for low pass filter, it will have separate coefficients. For edge detection filters, it has different filters. The coefficients that I am going to use in this experiment, they are the part of edge detection. Okay, so you will be able to see the edges in your images. Okay, so I hope so. This part is clear to you. Some idea you have got of this. Okay, now coming back to that LabVIEW environment. Okay, now how to start with these operations. Okay, see over here. First of all, I need to, because now see over here, this convolution requires multiplication and addition. So I need to convert the data type of my image data, that is of U8, into double type. So for in order to convert into double type and plus one more thing, whenever you want to do convolution operation, you have seen that in the whiteboard that I discussed, it is always a matrix operation. But this read PNG, it has converted into one-dimensional array. So in order to convert my image data, the pixel value from one-dimensional array into a two-dimensional array, the block that I'm going to use is known as unflattened pixmap. See over here, graphics and sound. I go to this option, graphic format. I use this flattened and this unflattened pixmap. See over here in unflattened pixmap, the block diagram. Left hand side, you see a single vertical line, that is a one-dimensional array, and arrow, you see a block. Block means a matrix. And the reverse operation was there in case of flattened pixmap. So here I have selected unflattened pixmap. This is not draw unflattened pixmap. This is only unflattened to create a two-dimensional array out of my image data. You see over here, image data is input, and it is going to create 24-bit, 8-bit, 4-bit, whatever your input image is, into a two-dimensional array. You can read over here. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to feed my input to the image data, and on the output you have 24-bit, 8-bit, 4-bit. So in 8-bit, I'm going to create okay, I need to convert the data. So I'll first of all place a conversion block as well. How to get the conversion block? I go to this numeric, this conversion. So I need to convert it into double to double. So I select over here the double thing. I'll take this 8-bit pixmap and I connect to this double type. And the output will be now of type double. Okay. Now, in order to perform convolution operation, convolution can be easily done. You can search for convolution.vi, or you can find it in signal processing. In signal processing, there are operations of signal operations. First is convolution.vi. So you can directly write it in the search, convolution.vi. Just place the block over here. So it is going to do the convolution between x and y, the two inputs. So first input is coming from over here. Okay. Second input, I need to create a matrix. So the matrix that I've shown you in the whiteboard, that matrix I need to create. So that is a constant for me. So I'll right click on the y and I'm going to create a constant for me. Constant is going to be an array for me. So I'm going to expand it. Just wait, I'll select this block first. Yes. On the bottom right corner, you will see the option. Okay, so I'm going to expand it to form 4 cross 4. No, it is going to be 3 cross 3. Generally, there is also one question I think so was asked, why I have taken 3 cross 3? Because of symmetry. Because I'll tell you just one thing. Wait, let me enhance its size. Okay. So because I've told you that in the result of convolution, you replace the center pixel by the result of convolution. So if you take a 3 cross 3 matrix, it is easier to find the center because it is symmetric. But in 4 cross 4, you will have two centers. So that's why 3 cross 3, 5 cross 5, this odd order matrix is taken. 3 cross 3, 5 cross 5 or 7 cross 7. But generally 3 cross 3 is preferred. So I'm going to type in the values over here. I take 4 over here, minus 1, minus 1, minus 1, minus 1. So here I have entered the mask value. This you can change accordingly, okay, according to the type of filter or according to the type of operation that you want to apply. Here I have taken a edge detection operator. This is having the coefficient as this one. There are many operators available. Okay, so this is one type. Okay, so this convolution part is done. Now in order to have my output data, there is one more thing that I need to do over here. That is, I need to have an addition block. First of all, I'll create a constant. Constant I will add 128, and I'm going to create this y to this. Now why I have added over here 128? Because the convolution is basically symmetric in nature and gives you the symmetric result with respect to 0. So if suppose it is a double type image, that is, you will have double type. Basically, if you click over here, you see here it is 64-bit real, 64-bit real, and finally you know that our original image was of 8 bits, so we need to convert it back into 8 bits only. So just wait, I'll go again back to the conversion. I'll take the conversion block U8, then I'll tell you about this reason. So two things I have done over here. One is this double type conversion I have done because I wanted to do the convolution operation. Convolution operation can only be done when it is in the double data type because it involves some multiplication or addition operation. Okay, it was done. Now, in order to display the image back, I have already told you in MATLAB, in OpenCV, in LabVIEW as well, in order to be able to display the image using the draw flattened or draw unflattened pixmap, it has to be in uint8 type. Okay, so I need to convert it back into U8. So first of all, this was in U8 type category. I have converted into double. I have carried out my operation. Now it's time to see the effect, see the output image. So I will convert it back into U8. Now, why I have added over here 128? See over here, when I do the convolution operation, it gives me the output pixels symmetric with respect to 0.0. Means some will go to, like if it is a 8-bit image, if I talk about 8-bit means 256 levels. So 128 will be on the positive side and remaining 127 or 128 will be values on the negative side. If I take 0 as the center point of symmetry, that is by default the symmetry point of convolution. Okay, so but I don't want the negative values. Pixels values they don't have the negative one. Okay, so in order to bring it back to my range, what I've done is I have added 128. So now the center point, the reference point, the symmetry point across which I am getting my the image symmetric with respect to 0, that is 127 or 128 values on the negative side and 128 values on the positive side. I will get now 128 as a reference. So here my image will be between 0 to 255 or 256. If I take from 1, it will be 256. If I take from 0, it will be 0 from 255. So my pixels have now come within the range of 0 to 255, and that's why now I have converted into U8 category. So in order to bring the symmetry with respect to 128 as a reference point rather than 0 to avoid the negative values, that's why I have added over here 128. Okay. Now last part is left to draw the image. So in order to draw the image, because in the starting here I have taken, this is unflattened pixmap. So for the output as well, I will take draw unflattened pixmap.vi. Okay, I'll take this option. This is unsigned 8-bit integer now. I'll connect it to my data, output I'm going to create an indicator, that is my image. This is my edge detected image. Okay, and two things here need to be done. First of all, click on this and select type, because this is a polymorphic type VI. You need to select over here the data type of the image. So because in the starting you saw it was showing here draw 24-bit pixmap, 8-bit pixmap, and 4-bit pixmap. So I select over here, select type. I am going to select 8-bit pixmap because my input image is 8 bits. Okay. Plus one more thing is there, that is a color table over here. Color table means basically the gray level values only. So select over here and connect it to this, to the color table over here, so that the input from the original image that I have performed operation, their gray values are preserved. Plus I have selected the type to be 8-bit pixel. Okay, two operations need to be done over here. One is right click, select the type, what type of pixmap you want to display, 8-bit, 4-bit, 1-bit. True color means 24-bit, so 8-bit pixmap. Next is color. Color over here, colors refers to the grayscale level only, the gray tones only in grayscale image. You need to connect to this draw unflattened pixmap VA. Okay, now I am going to move over here and I am going to display this image. First of all, I'll select its height and width, 256, 256, apply width, apply height. Okay, and I'm going to run the program. You see over here, see this image. This is a properly edge detected image. You see the boundary of the code, the boundary of this camera, of this tripod stand that is there at the background. So you are able to identify the edges or the boundaries of the objects that are there visible in your image. Okay, so this is one kind of operation, that is a 2D array operation that we can apply on the image. There are number of operations, okay, that you can also apply over here, but still you are not much aware of image processing techniques. So in your future semesters, when you will study about image processing, there when you will get to know about image enhancement, image segmentation, you can apply further operations as well. Basically my aim to add this experiment in LabVIEW is to make you aware of the some application of LabVIEW in this field as well, because I well, have started thinking that you only think that you can only create virtual instruments. No, no, no. Just like MATLAB has got various toolbox, image processing, signal processing, similarly you can have a toolbox of image processing, sound processing in LabVIEW as well, and you can do multiple operations. Okay, now I would like to take your doubts, then I will end the session. Okay. Pixels will be always positive, but the coefficients that I have taken in the 3x3 matrix, they can have positive as well as negative values, because they are only the weight factors which I want to multiply and add, but pixels always have the positive values. Any other doubt? In worksheet, okay, theory you will find entirely in your manual. The define of image, define of digital image, types of images, theory is written over there. You can as such copy in your worksheet part. Second thumb comes is your snapshots part. So aim again, aim what is there in your syllabus or in the experiment manual, you need to write down the aim. Task or objective that is to be done, that will be there in your where you will find this experiment worksheet. Okay, there the task will be there. In the task I have added this image, this test image. Okay, so all you need to perform this operation on this image only, because this is purely a 8-bit image that you can do. Okay, now coming to the snapshot part. So whatever I have done over this, okay, this entire front panel, all these three images, original image, reverse image, edge detected image, this image data, input file path, and the output file path. Okay, All these you need to have in the front panel and this entire block diagram. So whatever we have done in this session in the LabVIEW part, these two snapshots has to be there along with your UID in your experiment number 6. Okay. Any other doubt? Learning outcomes and results. Results is, hence you have studied how to carry out various image processing techniques in LabVIEW. Okay. Second thing is your learning outcomes. What you have learned? You have learned so many things out of this experiment: types of images, formats, data types, how to do you can say read image, write image, 1D array operation, 2D array operation, all those you can have. Okay, your lab is showing a different. Okay, there are two types. Pranay, see over here, remember this. Go to graphics and sound. In picture functions you will see draw unflattened pixmap and draw flattened pixmap. This you have to use whenever you want to display the image. जो आपको यहाँ दिख रहे हैं, this one and this one. These are used when you want to display the image. But this unflattened pixmap that I've used over here, this is used to create a 1D array into 2D array. How to access this? This is in graphic formats at the bottom, flattened pixmap and unflattened pixmap. You have to select over here. Okay, one is unflattened pixmap, one is draw unflattened pixmap dot vi. This is the vi itself, sub vi. Okay. Any other doubt? Anyone want to ask? If no, then you can leave the session. Thank you very much.